Hi, this is Chad. Welcome back. Podcast show by Chad Kasi and my boy Anthony. We're going to do this each and every week. We talk about hot new topics. I'm glad you guys are part of it. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're going to jump right into it. So, Anthony, we're talking about Travis Scott. Travis Scott, big news right now on CNN, on everybody's station right now. What happened over the weekend with the whole concert with the Astro World. I'm a big fan of Astro World, by the way. I grew up in the Astro World era. I'm a 1980s baby. So a lot of things that I experienced at Astro World to me ain't the same what he's trying to recreate, but I do respect that he's trying to show the younger generation what Astro World was like for him growing up and how he's bringing that back to the community. But because it's such a tragic what happened over the weekend, I really don't think they're going to allow him to ever do it again. What's your take and your input about Travis Scott over the weekend?
Well, I mean, I'm just still putting together bits and pieces because they still trying to figure it out. They're investigating all that stuff right now. But to my knowledge, it's just been, apparently, the crowd got excited when, Drake came out and they just kind of rushed and got closer because everybody wants to try to get close to whoever they feel is
concerts,
right. And so they just rushed the stage and, things just got out of hand. It was a stampede. And if you know anything about a stampede, it's just, it's that motion, it's that force, and it's hard to stop.
So let me ask you a question. Do you feel, so first of all, my attorney, Kevin Murray, shout out to Kevin Murray. Kevin Murray is a big time litigation, entertainment lawyer. And he's right now working on this case with the whole Travis Scott thing. And my question, I had this dialogue conversation with a friend of mine earlier. Do you think has been any foul play from NRG or Travis Scott's standpoint? Because there's a bunch of lawsuits are going to be flying out over here the next few months. There's going to be a bunch of lawsuits because what 9 or 10 people deaths with over 100 injuries, right? And matter of fact, I've had attorneys tell me straight up, if somebody was just there, they're part of the class action lawsuit. It's bigger than what you think it is. It's huge. And, the NRG is owned by the city of Houston. So do you feel like there's any foul play from the NRG standpoint? Lack of security, lack of maybe not allowing that many people there or be in one specific area barricaged in, okay? Maybe they should have sectioned this stuff off because couldn't do anything properly. Or do you feel like there's all that responsibility falls on the tenant, at least in the space for that evening?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say foul play, so to speak, how I think about foul play.
Negligence.
I think that with any tragedy, people want answers and someone has to pay. That's a lot of people's intention because what you took of mine of value or what you damaged the value, I need that back in return. And so, there may be some attorneys who like ambulance chasers. I'm gonna go and chase this paper because all I need is for one person to say they got hurt or some type of mental distress, something. And when you multiply that times 50,000 people, you might be able to have everybody on that class action suit that was actually in a certain area.
So if you was a landlord and it happened on your premises, would you allow Travis Scott to go next year?
Now, I mean, the thing is
because you understand when attorneys start suing, they sue everybody.
No, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to Travis Scott.
So the thing about it is this, if Travis Scott remains hot for the next, God knows, some of you, if he has a long career, you may be in a position where, hey, if I'm the landlord over there and I need someone to occupy this space at this time and he's the only person out there, I have to make sure that Houston is on notice that these are the extra precautions that we're going to take, because anytime, something happens like that, they're going to, it's bigger than just Travis Scott. They're going to be like, okay, what do we need to put in place next time? Because whoever comes here and does a performance, because let's say all of a sudden Drake says Drake wants to come in, because Drake's in Houston all the time, right? Let's say Drake wants to come out and do something like that. They're going to think about, especially in an outside venue, all right, we can't have the same thing Travis Scott, because if Drake brought out, let's say, Chris Brown, or he brought out like Future, or he brought out somebody and people went ham, then they're going to think about, hey, what do we need to put in place so something like this doesn't happen?
Well, NRG has had outdoor stadiums. I remember I went to a concert called Press, where R. Kelly was the headliner there. It was a big concert similar to Travis Scott. And it was hundreds of thousands of people out there, right, for the weekend. But I think what happened over the weekend is a game changer for NRG. I don't think they're going to allow him to be able to do the Astro World concert concept. They'll probably allow him to rent the stadium out or the arena out. I don't think they're going to allow him to do that. And if they did, after all the lawsuits are said and done, there's going to be so many implements in place. Insurance, you're going to have 3 times more the insurance. It may not be even worth it for them at the future. I don't know. I don't think the NRG is going to allow it anymore. Right. Honestly, personally, I don't think they're going to allow it anymore, because there was lives that were sacrificed that died over the situation. And then every time that happens, you don't have a problem until you have a problem. Right. And now that the problem has existed, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think Astro World is going to. I don't think any state, after what they seen what happened in Houston, Texas, are going to allow him to operate in that kind of content with no kind of population control, right?
I mean, I think that they're going to, again, everybody's going to be cautious, because whatever happened here with Travis Scott, there's going to be another outside venue where there's going to be another somebody popular in the industry that's having something, because people want to be outside anyway. And outside venues, people like going to outside venues too, especially when the weather's good and the people that they want to see. I mean, but it's just, it was one of those, maybe they just bit off more than they could chew as far as attendance is concerned. And maybe it just, things happen, because I don't think they went into it saying, well, hey, you know what? I don't want this to work out. Because it's like, because it's like, for instance, let's say all of a sudden you in the spot and that, this particular spot had gotten citations for electrical problems or whatever. Then an electrical issue happens and people lose their lives based on that. The clear signs were right there. But I think for this particular situation, because Travis Scott's concerts don't have a history of something like this happening. Like, this is something that nobody was expecting. Like, if someone told me like this was going to happen.
Well, you already had an issue before, at the beginning, before the Drake came out, that people had bun rush the entry, right? I think Travis Scott had put out a statement on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, on Twitter, that get in how you guys fit in, basically, in so many words. I'm not quoting quote to quote.
Right.
But then he deleted that after the situation that happened. And then people bun rushed that based on his words, right? And people wanted to compare it to Donald Trump when he had made a statement about, going to Capitol, enemy necessary, basically in so many words. And so there was already a security breach, right, that happened from the front end.
So when you say, okay, so for instance, if he's a day before his concert or 2 days before his concert, and he's hearing that, people can't get in, or versus
it gotta be the day of the concert,
or the day of the concert, and he says, get in where you fit in, some people can translate that into, that's not my problem if you can't get in. So do it how you want to do it. Of course, I wouldn't have advised him to use it. Right. No, but I wouldn't advise him to use those words. Yeah, those words, you shouldn't have used those words, because in their minds, some people may say, oh, okay, well, we could bum rush the whatever. But again, on the flip side, I'm sure that there was security out there, checkpoints, things of those sort. And sometimes it gets where if you don't have enough in certain areas, then they're overwhelmed. Because remember, when you got 50,000 people, even if you had, let's say, 300 cops there or 300 security people there, that's still technically not enough if they wanted to go ham on them. But what really what really truly ignited the push? Was the words he said as far as getting where you fit in, or was it the everything was cool and we only had people passing out because if they were so close to each other?
Well,
versus, hey, once Drake came out, then that's when it happened.
Well,
because that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, I say it was two issues. The first issue is the security breach. He shouldn't have mentioned that. Allowed a security breach. That was the first sign.
Well, he didn't tell them. He didn't tell them to override security.
He didn't say that.
Let's be clear. He didn't tell them to do that.
He didn't have to say that. If you say get in when you fit in, and you got 15,000 people outside, that's not. First of all, for what I've heard, it wasn't as organized and structured like it should have been. Right?
Okay. Well, that increases the risk.
That could increase the risk.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I'm sure he've gotten calls and messages on Instagram. Hey, we can't get in. We didn't pay $250-$300 to get in, and they don't know what the hell they're doing from the front door to the back door, right? So that's a logistic issue, right?
Right.
And so his words was, get in where you fit in. Okay, well, you don't got to figure it out. We won't rush the door. He didn't tell him to do it.
Right.
But you made a comment.
But you know, if he made that comment to you and I at our age, and even if I think back at, let's say, when I was 18, you know, or let's say when I was 22, there's only so much I'm going to do if I hear something like that. Because I'm not trying to, I can look around and see what everybody else is doing, but don't mean I have to go with the flock. Because if I can't get in, I'm going to find a way to get my money back. All right. Now the thing is, I'm going to find a way to get my money back.
19 years
old, but hold on.
Lifetime.
But the thing is, it's not 18, it's not of a lifetime, because Travis Scott's not Elton John, bro.
19-year-old person, that is a lifetime.
Listen, if I'm 18 and this cat is what, 22, 20, I'm going to get to see him again. He ain't going nowhere.
It's not about that. It's capture the moment.
Yes, but sometimes you can't be part of the moment.
Okay, but a 19 or 20-year-old person's not thinking that way.
All right, but so if they jump the fence,
person, Anthony of the Yard now,
right? But if you jump at 18, if you jump the risk and say, you know, I'm a bum rush this, I'm gonna go straight through my man over here, and he's security, whatever. I'm not even trying to hear what he's trying to say. That's dead to me. Okay, and it may be dead to an 18-year-old. They may be like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing. Now, there's a risk that comes with making that decision. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody say something, it don't mean. Look,
first
listen.
of all, they bun rushing, and the doors, the gates are wide open. You gonna tell me you gonna stay behind and get my money back, or you walking?
What I'm saying is this: as an 18-year-old, I'm smart enough to make an assessment of what I see in front of me. I'm not that naive where I'm like, again, if me and my boys are together and we wanna, y'all wanna rush it. And they could be like, yo, yeah, we're going to rush it. All right, so whatever happens. This is where we're going to meet back if things go south.
Right.
But we understand the risk, though, at 18. But if we go forward, then if I'm bum rushing just to get into the venue is one thing. There's another bum rush that goes in effect when you're trying to rush the stage. We're not even near yet. So if we just trying to get through security, we're not even near yet.
What I'm saying is the first mishap was you had a massive crowd rushing in the entry. That's the first security breach. You don't know what they carrying. You don't know what weapon they got. You haven't been patted down, checked. I think apparently you got somebody sticking needles in people, right? So apparently that's also a security breach.
Well, that's a whole nother.
They still over HIV or any kind of thing, right?
That's a whole nother
whatever, right?
That's crazy.
So that's a security breach all with itself.
Well, that's crazy. Right? I mean, I heard that.
That
and
means
I was
even
like,
Travis Scott's life is at risk at this point because the security breach has already been done.
Right.
Right. So should the concert been stopped then or not, right?
Well, I mean, he could have decided to delay the concert and say, okay, listen, there's a lot of choices on that you can make. You can say, okay, you know what? Let me not perform right now. Let me try to get everybody in and then see if we can do the crowd control, manage the crowd control. Now, even if Travis didn't say that, somebody on his team or somebody that was part of the production crew, somebody that was responsible for organizing it, could have said, okay, yo, get this to Travis, tell him to chill. Tell him not to go on right now. We have a problem with the crowd right now.
I've had people tell me that went to the concert that they had a good time, but logistically it was not structured. It was not handled properly, right? And so that's what happens a lot of times when you know, black businesses, not all black businesses, but a lot of black businesses, sometimes we lack on the details.
But the thing
We
about
think
it is
about
that
the money.
I
We
can't
think
say
about the money
I
and the
can't, but I can't say it's a black thing because I can name so many concerts that I've seen that was structured. I've been to
Well, I
Jay-Z
mean,
concerts.
but that's
I've been to R. Kelly concerts. I've been a bunch of people that are black. It's just I don't think this was a black thing. I just think that because realize that it's not like everybody that was responsible for putting this together was black.
But listen, I mean, in the end of the day, is it all starts from the head, right? It starts from the head and works its way down.
Right.
So if Travis Scott say, "I want carnivals and I want ponies rocking around this thing," do what you want to do, right?
Right.
You the tenant, like you lease out the place for the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. You the man.
I mean, his intentions. I bet apparently his intentions were good to create an experience.
There was great intentions.
Right.
I'm not knocking the great intentions.
Right.
I'm talking about the infrastructure that's behind it.
Right. And somebody's going to have to pay for it.
So the infrastructure behind it could not have been in place that could also have caused a chaotic situation. So, I mean, for example, there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of people in power don't always have the best people that's around him. Don't have always the best guidance because they listen to the one individual. This is what I want. It's XYZ. Mm-hmm. And Travis Scott's such a well-known person in Houston. Mm-hmm. He can get what he wants, right? He can get the key to the city because he's just Travis Scott.
Right.
But so there may be certain layers and things that you might not be able to get away with that Travis Scott could maybe get away with.
But like I said, people that have been hired logistically to put this together, and if you're breaking it down from a marketing standpoint and PR standpoint, when you're breaking it down from just pure logistics, as far as like, okay, who needs to be where it needs to be, the production of it, where that needs to be, security, where it needs to be, because we're not talking about production, we're not talking about the marketing, we're talking about people and being able to manage people at your concert and what we have in place to make sure nothing gets out of hand, to make sure that the people can come risk-free, as close to being risk-free in a harmonious environment. Because realize too is that there's crowds where you have everything in place and people start getting liquored up and having too much. You got to think about all those things, and they may have thought about them, but it just didn't work out.
Maybe, but I also heard another rumor and statement that some of his managers and people behind stage was telling Travis while he's on stage, "Hey, some stuff going down, stop."
But I saw a video clip that he stopped, he said, "Hey."
But that was later on. Initially, there was people that came in trying to tell him, "Hey, listen, there's pandemonium, pandemic going on right now in your crowd," and he ignored it. It wasn't until he saw the paramedics trying to fight through the crowd when he actually had made the announcement, "Hey, something's going on here." And there's only two directors, right? Two managing people that could have stopped the show that didn't.
But the thing about it is that these are, unless I have the proof in front of me, these are all rumors.
There were people actually dancing and still enjoying the concert where people with dead bodies
because they can't see anything behind them.
I mean,
if you're in the front, you know,
people like that that just passed out like Michael Jackson concert.
What I mean, people passing out versus people getting trampled is a whole different ball game. Because 9 times out of 10, if people are passing out, you see a person passing out. Hey, this person passed out. They'll carry the person over the crowd. But people getting stampeded, that's a whole different ball game. Because I've gotten, pushed down before.
You had a high heel going your back before?
Nah, Nah. But I've been like pushed down before because of people going to try to like whatever. But so I can only imagine how it must have felt to people. And unfortunately too, is that, there were kids, grown-ups, it was everybody. And the thing about it is that
what was the kids thing? Okay.
It was terrible, man. You had kids like.
Did you bring your kid to a Travis Scott concert?
If I
think it was kid friendly?
It's like this. If I had kids, and honestly, my cousins' kids, I love them like they're mine. And when, let's say, my cousin kid wants to go to a concert, I would tell my cousin, like, I'll go with her because I want to make sure, as far as safety is concerned, I want to make sure I'm there at a certain age. Okay. I think at a certain age, you have to accompany your kid. If your kid may, be a certain age and like,
so what is a certain age?
I think for me, I would still go to a concert with my little cousin if she was 16 years old.
15. What about 9?
If she's 16 years old.
What about 3?
I'm telling you, the only time I may feel comfortable if she's like, if she's 18 and she's going, and then I'm like, okay, what concert you going to and what venue is it at? Because again, now once she's 21, she could do whatever she wants to do, but I'm only concerned about, and I'm not trying to crowd nobody, it's just a safety issue because we live in a world, the world we live in today is not the world we lived in yesterday. And unfortunately, when we talk about, kids and safety, it's a lot to have to protect them. And I'm not even a parent, but I know that I would never, to me, and this is just me, there would never be someone under 16 not being accompanied by an adult.
Okay. So would you say 16 would be the age limit? Would you bring them to something like this, right?
No, 16 would be the like when I'm considering whether I want, my little cousin to go to a venue by themselves without me being present.
Okay. So we're talking about Travis Scott Pacific concert. What is the minimum age limit would you take them to a Travis Scott concert?
Not 16.
16.
I would say, no, 16, I would still take them at 16, 17. If they were 18, I would be like, no.
If it was 10, you would say no.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Look, so me and my sister had this conversation earlier today on the phone. And my sister is a very religious woman, got 2 kids married. And one of her friend's neighbor child got killed at Travis Scott concert, right? Very, very disturbing news to know that somebody my sister knows and related to that. And me and my sister had a conversation was, do you think it's suitable to bring a minor that's 9, 10, 12, 5, 2 to a concert? And she was like, absolutely not, right? We got people smoking marijuana, you got people doing drugs, you got people cussing, you got all kinds of stuff. And we got to get in a conversation that parents these days don't want to parent their kids like our old school parents, right? They want to take them wherever they go because they don't got no babysitter set up, right? So if I got to go out to the club, if I can bring them to the club, I'm bringing them to the club with me, right? I mean, because nobody want to miss out on life and entertainment much anymore. I'm trying to live my life. My kid going to live through me in that kind of way. And I think there's a problem with that. Because my 9-year-old child will not be going to a Travis Scott concert. Now, 16, they're already driving. They're 2 years from being an adult, right? Legally. So 9, 10, 8, they should not be going that kind of concert. If it's not, I understand it's a carnival, right? Involved. But that's carnival is just a stage for this is a concert.
Well, the thing is, and I don't know how it's set up, but if it's one thing to say, okay, I'm bringing the kid to the Travis Scott Astro World Carnival, but at 7 o'clock when the concert comes on, the people in the carnival, y'all gotta go, and the people that actually pay for the ticket for the concert has to stay. But still on the flip side, this is just me. I just think that
I don't think it was a concert.
And it may not be, but for me, I just feel comfortable, with what I feel comfortable with, because again, it's just, things are just age appropriate. And, like I said, Travis Scott ain't going nowhere. You can hear his music. If you're under a certain age, you can hear his music, because like I said, at concert venue, it's a whole different ball game. And even, but that's an individual choice. And unfortunately, we all have to deal with the choices that we make, even as parents, because my parents made plenty of choices that maybe I didn't agree with, but I had to, because they were parents. But I think all parents do their best they possibly can to take care of their children, keep them from harm's way. And harm's way, is sometimes other people who just kind of get out of line. But it's sad and it's tragic that anybody, whether you're a child, an adult, anybody who got hurt, anybody who got lost their lives. I think it's a tragedy.
It is tragic.
And I feel because I've seen, parents bury their children, and that's something I never want to see in my life. And unfortunately, these lives have been taken. I mean, it's just bad. But I know for me, my if I was, under the age of 16, my dad is not, or my mom is not letting me go
absolutely
by myself. No, I had to beg to go to certain concerts.
What do you think, this parent that lost a 9-year-old child, do you think they're thinking, maybe I shouldn't take him to this concert? Maybe that wasn't the best, perhaps. Maybe they had a babysitter set up, or they think there's probably just a trash.
Nah. If I was that parent, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about retribution. I'm thinking about why you guys didn't have certain place. Why? But why, when I'm with my child lost their lives in front, or his or her life in front of me at your venue, when it was reasonably for me to believe that I was in a safe environment and I was just going to listen to a concert. And so that's how I would be thinking. Like, I don't care nothing about my decision to bring my kid. That's my decision. But I didn't. If I had known that this was going to occur, or the risk of this was going to occur, I wouldn't have brought me or myself there. I wouldn't have put myself in jeopardy or my kid in jeopardy.
Okay, let me ask you this question. That goes back to the previous conversation you had. You said that they shouldn't have put your child in arm's danger.
Mm-hmm.
But when you buy a ticket, there's terms and conditions on the back of that ticket. If you get hit with a football, basketball, there's terms and conditions when you purchase a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
My question goes back to you. What could they have done differently? Because earlier you were saying there's nothing they could have done differently. Everything was just...
No, I didn't know. What I'm saying, I didn't say they couldn't have done anything different, because I would have to take a detailed look at the checks and balances and things that they put together to mitigate risk. I would have to talk to a risk manager that's responsible or assigned to that particular venue and say, okay, these are the risks associated with it. No, but I'm just saying, those are things you had before you had a concert.
Uh-huh.
And if I could see a blueprint of, okay, this is what the checklist looked like, and this is the risk that we associated with this particular venue, knowing how many tickets are going to be sold, knowing how everything is spaced out and set up, then I would have to compare and contrast, based upon that particular checklist and other previous events that had that. Then
accident, like you said earlier, just a tragic accident. So are you still going to say, wait, this was an adult concert, it wasn't too many people that was there underage, I don't think it was a kid-friendly environment, maybe it was something I could have done differently, maybe dropped them off at mom's house, found a babysitter where I have my good time, right? And I'm not faulting.
So you're talking about from a parental standpoint. Are you saying that it should have been like a different, like, what do I think differently I could have done so that I could enjoy my...
Everybody thinks when something happens traumatically in your life, you always look back what I coulda, shoulda, would have done differently to prevent the situation from happening. Well, my question is, do you think that the parent feels like they've took any responsibility for bringing my child to a grown adult concert that is not kid friendly, besides the carnivals, going to a concert with full of grown adult environment? They could be drinking all the kind of stuff, an environment that's not cultural for my child, but maybe there's no handbook about raising a child. Let me be straight honest. There's no perfect era how to raise a child, and I get that. But in the back of their mind is, my mom would have told me, no, don't bring your child there. Okay, take them to church first. Now, can they get tramping at church with the Holy Ghost? Maybe. But these are no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not in that kind of environment that they can be exposed to certain things at 9 years old. So I'm just asking you, is there anything they could have done differently? And then the same question, is anything at the concert or the arena could have done differently?
Well, I can't speak on the concert and the arena, because I don't know what they already had set up. But I'm sure as a parent, if they could just say, okay, if I could have done one thing different, I would have just never went to the show.
Period, both of them.
That's it. I just never went to the show. That's the only thing they're thinking. I would have just never went to the show. I wish this would have never happened.
All right, guys, that's all our time we have for Travis Scott. I hope we was able to enlighten some questions and concerns that you guys can have this conversation at the dinner table with your friends. Comment on my Instagram, Chad962, Chad Cossey, YouTube, Facebook, Chad Cossey. Stay tuned. We got more to come. See you next time.